All right, so this week we are diving into the world of Ohio Senator J.D. Vance.
Fascinating figure.
You got that right, and this document you sent over, It's incredible. It's not just some dry report. It's practically a political thriller in paper form.
Comprehensive for sure.
Seriously, we're talking voting records, policy positions, even a peek into his business dealings, finances, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, all there. Yeah.
So where do we even begin with someone like J.D. Vance? I mean, how do you go from comparing a guy to heroin to being his political ally?
Right.
It's what? Let me find the exact quote here.
Okay.
2016, Vance says Trump is unacceptable and compares his appeal to heroin. Now he's opposing Ukraine funding because it could lead to another Trump impeachment.
It's quite a turnaround.
That's an understatement. It makes you wonder what could possibly cause such a drastic shift in thinking.
Well, it's a good question. And unfortunately, this document doesn't offer a clear-cut answer. But what it does do is highlight a pattern we've been seeing, particularly within the Republican Party, where politicians are kind of recalibrating their stance on Trump. The big question is why.
It's like a giant political puzzle.
Right.
And you have to wonder what voters make of all this. Imagine being someone who initially supported Vance because he was so against Trump. How would you feel now seeing this complete 180?
Yeah.
Would it make you question everything he stands for? Or could you rationalize it as him being able to adapt and evolve his viewpoints?
That's a tough one.
It really is. And it makes you think about the whole nature of political identity. Is it about unwavering allegiance to a single figure? Or is it about supporting policies and principles even if the people representing them change their tune? It's a question without easy answers, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're about to dive into even more inconsistencies that go way beyond just his stance on Trump.
Oh, believe me, I know. We haven't even scratched the surface yet. Get ready because things are about to get really interesting.
Yeah.
It's like someone took a political compass and spun it around a dozen times.
Right.
And this is where things get really interesting. We're not just talking flip-flopping on one issue. We're talking potential contradictions in core values.
Yeah, let's dig into that.
Okay, so take unions, for example.
Yeah.
Vance talks a big game about protecting workers, right? Calls out corporate influence in the GOP. Sounds pretty pro-union on the surface, right?
You think so, yeah.
But then you get to his stance on right-to-work laws, which basically aim to weaken unions, and he opposes them. So which is it? Is he for the workers or for policies that some argue undermine their collective bargaining power?
It's a head-scratcher. It seems like he wants to have it both ways. But maybe we're missing a more nuanced perspective here.
It's tough to say for sure, and that's not the only head-scratcher.
Oh, no, there's more.
Oh, yeah. Get this. Childcare Vance slams Biden's plan as a bad deal for parents. Strong words, right?
Definitely.
But here's the kicker. When his own wife was working in D.C., guess who helped out with childcare?
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Her mom, his own mother-in-law.
Oh, wow.
So it's only a problem when the government tries to make childcare more affordable. A little hypocritical, maybe.
It does make you wonder about the factors influencing those policy positions.
Right. And the contradictions don't stop there.
This I gotta hear.
So climate change, Vance acknowledges, it even talks about a clean energy future. All good.
Seems reasonable.
But then he criticizes anyone who blames job losses on trade deals, specifically those with China.
Interesting because
China's environmental regulations are way more relaxed than ours. Isn't he basically okay with sending manufacturing jobs to a country that pollutes more?
it's complicated.
Yeah.
There are arguments to be made on both sides.
That's true. It's just hard to reconcile sometimes.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's tough to get a read on where he truly stands on some of these issues.
It's like we're trying to solve a political riddle. Who is the real J.D. Vance?
Right. And this next part of the document, well, it throws another curveball into the mix.
Oh, yeah. Lay it on me.
Venture capital.
Ah, yes. The world of Silicon Valley startups. Big money. Didn't expect that.
It's not exactly what you'd expect from someone who made his name critiquing the elite.
It's giving say one thing to another, right?
Let's just say there are some interesting details in this document about his firm, Narya Capital.
Like what? Spilled it to tea?
Well, for starters, remember how Vance is always railing against big tech?
Yeah. Facebook, Google, the whole gang.
And who's funding his venture capital firm? Those very same tech giants. Ironic much.
Whoa. It's like he's biting the hand that feeds him. So is it hypocrisy or is it, I don't know, strategic?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It definitely makes you think.
It does. It makes you wonder about authenticity in politics. You know, like, are you what you say you are? Or are you playing a role to get ahead? It's kind of disheartening if you think about it too much.
It's definitely a lot to unpack, and it gets even more complicated.
Oh, there's more. Don't leave me hanging.
So Vance was also involved with this other fund called Rise of the Rest. It's all about investing in startups outside of Silicon Valley, spreading the wealth.
Okay, sounds like a good thing on the surface.
Right. But then you look at some of the companies they've backed. One of them, Wirewheel, was actually founded by a former Obama official. And then there's GigWage, which operates in the gig economy.
Hold on, the gig economy. The same gig economy he criticizes for exploiting workers.
Yep, that's the one.
It's like he's playing both sides of the field. So which one is it? Is he for the working class or for maximizing profits, even if it means supporting practices that some argue hurt workers?
It's a tough one to reconcile, for sure.
It really is. It's almost like he's trying to thread a needle, appealing to both sides of the political spectrum, but maybe the needle is just too small.
Perhaps. And, that's what makes this document so fascinating. It's not just about J.D. Vance. It's about something bigger.
What do you mean?
Well, it's about this question of consistency in politics. Can you be a pragmatist and change your views without being labeled a hypocrite? Can you advocate for the working class while also participating in systems that some say exploit them? These are questions that go way beyond any one politician.
You're right. It's about the bigger picture of power influence and what it means to be a leader in today's world.
Exactly. And I think that's something worth thinking about no matter where you fall on the political spectrum.
Well said. So there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into the world of J.D. Vance. It's messy, it's complicated, and it's full of contradictions.
Just like real life, right?
Exactly. And that's what makes it so fascinating. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.